Mohammed Irshad and Jackson. Is my voice audible? Please let me know in the chat box. Jackson and Mohammed Irshad. Is my voice okay? Please let me know in the chat box. Mohammed Irshad Abdul Halim and Jackson Nicole. Is my voice okay? Mohammed Irshad and Jackson Nichols, please let me know in the chat box if you are able to hear me or not. Mohammed Irshad, Jackson, please let me know if you are able to hear me or not. Is my voice audible? Okay, great. So today we are going to do a case study. Okay, are you able to see the board properly? Shall we start with the class? Shall we start the class? Okay. Okay, your teacher is a bit ill today, so I'll be taking this class. This is Garima. You haven't attended my class. I teach at IMTS only. I teach business communication, case studies, business English and HR. Okay. So let's do a case study today. Okay. I hope you are able to see the board properly. RMC case study. Aggregate minerals are an important resource and their use is essential to national prosperity, right? They are vital for building new or improved housing. So minerals, from minerals only we get stones, right? And those are, and not only stones, but we get other building material too from minerals, right? And they are used in, making houses, hospitals, schools, factories, roads and leisure facilities. Everything from a garden path to the channel tunnel. The process of aggregates also provides materials for the whole range of non-construction uses. In agriculture, water purification, medicines, paint, toiletries, paper, plastics and steel making. Mineral working can have a significant effect on the landscape and see, inside the earth we find minerals, right? Right? Minerals are like, manganese, copper, zinc, okay? Okay. So see, inside the earth we find minerals and it has to be dug to a huge extent to get them, okay? But we should, when whoever is digging the earth, whoever is, doing something with the nature, okay, they just need to ensure that they don't damage it, right? Otherwise it can have a very, it can have a very devastating effects on nature, right? And once it is destroyed, once something in nature is destroyed, it just takes a lot of time, to get it back, and sometimes we don't get it back also, right? So making changes in the nature, we just cannot rule out the possibility of making changes in the nature. This is very much important, because life is changing every day and it's very demanding. Every day a new technology is coming. So we need to ensure we take a lot of things from nature which keeps us surviving and which helps us in leading a quality life. But at the same time, when we dig nature for something, we just need to ensure that we don't, it should not be, breaching of it, right? Not breaching, but yeah, poaching should not be done. Fine. Is it clear, Jackson? Yeah, Fadi. Good evening. See, today we are doing a case study, Fadi. Okay. You know me. You attend my classes, right? Your teacher is a bit ill today, so I am taking this class. Okay, I am teaching them a case. I am teaching this class a case study. Okay, Fadi. And this case study is based on, see, we get a lot of stuffs from nature, right, which keeps us alive, and at the same time, it gives us a lot of things which helps us in leading a quality life. And whatever improvement or whatever advancement we had made, it's all due to nature. See, technology got advanced in the coming, obviously, as compared to very ancient times when our ancestors used to live in jungles. This technology has got very much advanced. It has got advanced, but with the advancement of technology, it has become easier to explore minerals in nature, right? Fadi, Jackson and Mohammed. So whenever we get something from nature, it's okay. Nature is not prohibiting you from taking it from there, but you should not cause any harm, but you just cannot rule out the possibility of causing harm if you are extracting something from nature, but you should not harm it to the extent that to the stage of no return. Fine, Jackson, is it clear, Fadi? Now, mineral working can have a significant effect on the landscape and on the living conditions of the people. Good evening, Darshana. It is essential that industry operates to high environmental standards and manages its operations in a manner which minimizes their impact on the environment. So see, if we are extracting something from the environment, there would be some kind of impact on it, okay, and but it should be minimized on the part of company. Fine. Darshana, Fadi, Jackson, you are not responding. I guess you are not liking that case study. I don't know. Business managers have to take these matters seriously, as public awareness and concern has significantly increased over the last decade. Now, okay, fine. Now, see, it's a punishable offense. If you are, like this government has made so many laws, especially in abroad countries, okay, there are strict laws. If you are, like causing harm to the environment, you'll be punished for the same, right? And this is applicable to companies also. They have to keep a check on the carbon emission they are causing, right? If it is increasing beyond a particular extent, then they are being punished, right? Because we know it now. Everybody, this is being known from ancient times that we owe our existence from nature. But now people have got like concerned about it, because they know it. They have caused so much harm to the environment that a point has been reached. If they are going to cause more harm, the life would come to an end. You might have heard, you might have read it in newspapers that polar ice caps are, polar ice caps are, melting like anything. And scientists are spending, governments are spending a lot of money on that to stop that, but still it's not stopping. And if this persisted, what is going to happen? The whole earth is going to submerge in that, right? Companies are judged on the achievement of their traditional business objectives such as return on investment, growth, market share, and now on their environmental. So every company is having a motto now, go green, right? Why? Because they just, no one can afford to cause more harm. This can prove to be fatal. Nature cannot bear it anymore. And nowadays, you can see there is a nature's fury. Every now and then you will hear about an earthquake, okay, or some kind of nature's fury. So much harm has been done to the environment that nature is taking revenge now, right? And a lot of people are being killed, in these calamities. I mean, like earth, today in my city I encountered an earthquake. It was there in Nepal, but even my house was shaking for a few minutes, so I thought that I might be having a headache. But someone told me that it's an earthquake. Everyone in my colony was running out of the house. So see, nature is going to take revenge. It has been bearing this from the like from centuries, and if this persisted, yeah, everything is okay. If this persisted, this is going to happen what happened today, and so many people have been killed in Nepal due to that earthquake, and it was quite intense also, right? You might have heard it in news. So that's why every company is adapting the motto "Go Green." It is not only environmental campaigning groups or concerned consumers who realize the importance of environment. Research have shown that 3/4 of managers feel that more emphasis should be placed on these issues. What does this attitude spring from? There are a number of important influences, and these include UK and EU environmental legislation. Strict laws are there to protect animals, fauna, flora, and nature from from getting spoiled. Right? You might have seen, have you ever been to this national parks and all, wildlife sanctuaries? There are strict laws, and if you are playing around with animals, or if you are teasing them, this is not allowed. You are being penalized for the same, right? You just cannot give them anything for eating. You just cannot like tease them. You just cannot throw stones on them. There are a number of important influences, and these include UK and EU environmental legislation, public opinion, pressure groups, influencing of employee families and friends, the company own sense of social responsibility, and the last but not the least, market pressure from consumers and end users. Even we prefer to use cosmetics and stuffs which has not got any kind of crushes of bone in that. Earlier you might have heard, during ancient times, you might have heard about the brand Bone China. Right? They sell crockery. So during ancient times, when it was being launched, they used to use bones of animals to make this crockery. That's why the name, from there only emerged the name Bone China. Okay, but now it is not being used. So even we actually prefer to use something which is eco-friendly, right? We don't want to go for products which causes harm to the nature, or which is not eco-friendly. Like you might have heard about PETA supporters. Lot of people are supporting PETA, right? They ensure well-being of animals, right? And lot of celebrities, they have given up the habit of non-vegetarianism because they are PETA supporters. Nowadays there is a fashion of going vegan. Do you know what vegan is? Everyone must be knowing that, right? They feel that the milk of the like mother cow is for kids only, not for us to drink. Otherwise they'll have to stay hungry. So they give up dairy products, right? Right, Darshana, Jackson, Mohammed? So see, saving the environment is not only Okay, is my voice audible now? I got disconnected in between. Fine. So see, saving the environment is not only government's responsibility. We being the part of the environment, we too need to preserve nature, because if nature will be harmed, obviously we will also lose lives, right? So it's not just their responsibility, it's individual. We have to take the individual responsibility for that as well. Then only we can think of saving the nature. Otherwise making the laws or doing something, it won't save nature. So everybody has to take the responsibility of their own action towards nature, then only it can be protected. Fine? Yeah. So RMC Group has become the world's largest producer of ready mixed concrete. Okay, this company sells ready mixed concrete. Concrete is obviously the building material. Also diversifying into a number of other construction material sectors. It employs the principles of vertical integration to secure raw materials such as sand, gravel and crushed rock. Just a second please. Is my voice okay? See, I am saying RMC Group is the group which sells ready mixed concrete. This is a UK based group, okay? And they not only sell concrete, but they also sell other construction materials, which is being used at the time of construction of buildings, hospitals, etc. etc. It employs the principles of vertical integration to secure raw materials, sand, gravel, and crushed rock required to sustain the production of ready mixed concrete and other added value finished products such as concrete blocks, paving, asphalt, macadams for road construction. So they sell everything ready-made, okay, concrete. Otherwise, you have to use the raw materials to make concrete, but they sell ready-made one, okay. RMC operates in Europe, Israel, and United States. In recent years, the reunification of Germany and restructuring of Eastern Europe has brought about considerable expansion for the group in the core business of concrete and aggregates and in cement, the material that when combined with aggregates form concrete. In the UK, RMC is organized. So see, they actually manufacture this thing, but this case study is going to focus on how they preserve environment, because when they manufacture concrete and all, lot of dust is being produced, right, and that harms the environment, right, that degrades the quality of air, that causes air pollution. Okay, so how they control that, this is what this case study focuses on. In the UK, RMC is organized into number of divisions. The two largest represent the core or mainline business activities of aggregate extraction and processing, that is quarrying and production of ready mixed concrete and other added value products. Is this much clear to everyone? Darvish, Darshana, Fadi, Jackson and Mohammed. Any questions? Anyone out there? Darvish, you are not responding. RMC Roadstone. The roadstone activities of the RMC group are concerned with the production and processing of crushed rock, much of which will be used for road construction and maintenance. So they produce crushed rock too, okay, which is used for road construction and maintenance as well. A significant proportion of this output will be used in the manufacture of macadams and asphalt, the material used for the upper layer and surfacing of all types of roads and pavements. At present, RMC operates 30 hard rock quarries and 50 bituminous coating plants. Geologically speaking, hard rock such as limestone, granite and okay, is my voice okay now? Okay. So they produce everything which is being used as a raw material in like construction of buildings and roads. This is what we can say. Okay. Now, just a second please. Okay. Now, yes please, Jackson, please post your query in the chat box. I'll tell you. See. First of all, asphalt is actually a bitumen. This looks like a coal tar, but it is actually different. This is used in the construction of roads. I'll show it to you. Wait. Oh, wait. Just give me a moment, please. I'm going to show you the image of bitumen first. Something of this kind. Just open this link. You're going to see a lot of pictures of bitumen. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear, everyone? Okay, fine. Let's proceed ahead to the next part. Any questions so far? Anyone out there? In 1994, there were 1300 quarries and pits ranging from small sand pits producing a few thousand tons per annum to super quarries producing many millions of tons a year. In the same year, there were 1,150 ready-mix concrete plants and 350 coating plants. In 1995, 240 million tons of aggregate were produced, of which 149 million tons was crushed rock and 91 million tons of sand and gravel. 10% of total demand is met from recycled and secondary source, a figure which is set to double over the next decade. 60% of all demolition, materials and construction wastes are recycled. See how do they do justice with the environment. When the building is being demolished, you are going to get concrete which have been used at the time of manufacturing, like broken stones and all, right? Construction waste, right? They recycle that to produce aggregates and other stuffs which is being used in the building. Okay, so this is how they do justice with the environment. Fine, they recycle it. Is it clear, everyone? Darshana, Darvish, Mohammed. Okay, the area of land with planning permission for mineral extraction. See, extraction is obviously extraction is when obviously science is quite advanced now, and without extracting minerals you just cannot live a lavish life. Obviously, a lot of stuffs are being found. Even they extract gold, they extract diamonds. Okay, they have got mines for the same. But nowadays, people have started doing over extraction, right? Because of their greedy nature, that is causing harm to the environment, and nature is taking revenge in the form of nature's fury. Like the climate is you are going to encounter rains when it is not expected. You are not going to encounter any rains during the monsoon season. So there is imbalance in nature because of that. Amounts to about 0.35% of the total land area of Great Britain. However, at any one time, less than half of this figure would actually be worked. By the way of comparison, 12% of the land area is taken by urban areas. Review. The planning system is rooted in government policy and is controlled centrally for England and Wales by the Secretary of State for the Environment. Consequently, government policy is paramount in the making of planning decisions. The system is primarily operated and administered by local planning authorities, which decide whether a proposed development such as mineral working may proceed. All applications for planning permissions are submitted to the local planning authority. Business development. In order to maintain its business, the company needs to keep its reserves of mineral with planning permission under constant review. Okay, so if they have to extract something, they take permission from the government, then only they do it. Without permission, they don't do anything. Allied to this, ongoing investigations are undertaken to determine areas from which additional reserve may be gained, often where geological conditions permit. See, we should only do extraction at places where geological conditions permit. If you are going to do it forcefully, it is going to cause harm to you only, right? Human races are going to come to an end because of nature's fury, like earthquake, too much rainfall, acid rain, right? Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. Extensions to existing quarry operations are considered in the first instance. In other instances, new greenfield sites are studied either as replacement or as means to expand business activities. Now, before you are undertaking a project in some area, you have to do environmental assessment too before setting up the project there. Most of the companies, they don't do that, and that is how they cause harm to the environment. They just see their own benefit. This is a formal technique for ensuring that likely effects of new developments on the environment are fully understood and taken into account, right? It has been incorporated into planning procedures for certain major projects in the UK to implement an EU directive, which came into force in 1988 and was given legal effect in England and Wales throughout the town and country planning. Regulations in 1988. See, regulations regarding environment are very strict in US and UK. So companies keep in mind that, otherwise they'll be, they'll have to penalize heavily for the same. And their, reputation will be tarnished as well. Larger mineral development projects and those within environmentally sensitive areas, national parks are required to be the subject of environmental assessment. This approach provides a better basis for decision making. So they study the environment where they have to set up the project, and then only they decide whether they have to take it further or not. For RMC, the process serves to highlight the environmental effects of a project, or if necessary, where remedial or mitigating measures need to be adopted within the proposals for development. Where the formal environmental assessment procedures are not required, environmental effects are still addressed in full since they are taken into account by planning authority. Sustainability. A guiding principle of current government policy is to provide for development and growth to be sustainable. Okay. Quarrying operations are designed to minimize impacts on the environment while they are active and must work to a restoration objective. When quarrying ceases at a particular location, the site is landscaped and restored, then returned typically to countryside use. So see, if they are, doing some kind of mining somewhere, once their project is over, they don't leave it like that. They are going to restore it. Okay. If they have digged it to the huge extent, they are going to fill more mud to it. They are going to restore it, and then people can use it as it was earlier. Okay. Fine. To understand the issues involved in quarrying, 3 case studies highlight specific aspects that RMC has to consider in its application to extract minerals. Now, is this much clear? Shall we move to the next page? Alright. I hope the people are enjoying this case study. Now, Goddard quarry. In 1900, and this is the name of some quarry, they might have said that. In 1993, RMC Roadstone Limited Eastern sought permission to extend the existing quarry operation in the westerly direction. The quarry, which is situated in the Peak District National Park, already enjoyed an existing permission which, if it were to be developed to its maximum permitted extent, would yield an additional 4.5 million tons of limestone. This would sustain in the quarry at the prevailing production level for further 18 years. However, the company recognized that to develop the quarry within this existing permission would have significant adverse effects. The new application for the westerly explication was therefore designed to provide a similar output over the same timescale and thus sustain the quarry existence without the adverse effects shown below. The quarrying operation would be concentrated in areas which were subject of few planning conditions and which did not provide for meaningful landscaping or restoration. So they have decided they are only going to form quarries at places which can be restored. Otherwise, no. The quarry would become more prominent as wooded hill stone slopes and existing landscaped screen mound would have to be removed. Blasting would take place near to the village of Stony Mills, Middleton. Increased activity at the quarry would be audible in the nearest residential area. So they might have, ceased operations as far as this quarry is considered, and they have taken it somewhere else because these were the ill effects. Dust emission would also increase because they might have studied that, okay, if we are going to continue with this quarry, obviously these would be the harm. These harms would be caused to the environment as well as people living in nearby area, and they cannot restore once it has been done. Dust emissions would also increase. The removal of the existing processing plant and its replacement with a new arrangement along with the deepening of the quarry would add to costs of production. In essence, the application for the westerly extension represented to a straight swap. The older permission with its adverse effects for a new permission. In addition, the scheme for the proposed extension incorporated a series of measures that would minimize the local environment impact of the operations and would phase the development in order to effect restoration and landscaping work at the earliest opportunity. The extension would not increase the reserves and there would be no increase in the life of the quarry. The aim as expressed to the planning control. Okay, is my voice audible now? See, whenever they are done with the operations in a particular area, they try to restore it to the settings which mimics the original one, so that people can get the feel of to be at the same place. Okay. Okay. Nearly 30,000 new trees and shrubs of different species would be planted, providing an area of benefit to the local population as to create natural habitats. So once they are done with it, they just try to plant more and more trees to the particular area. The planning committee concluded that the environmental benefits constituted a sufficiently strong case to warrant an exceptional case. The removal of possibility of walking the slopes near the village and the restoration of the site provided grounds on which to allow the proposal to proceed. So see, even the government is happy. Why they get, whenever they propose something for a particular area, they get the approval because, they are eco-friendly in their motives. And they also do restoration, which mimics the original setting. Right? So that's why, they get approval for their specific project. Now, let's learn about Ron H. query. To meet an established need for high quality road stone, in 1989 the company undertook an extensive investigation of areas with suitable geology in Cumbria. The aim was to define a site with large mineral resource which was remote from populated area and would cause minimum disturbance to the environment. So see, they wanted to establish another quarry where they can get a lot of high quality road stone, but they wanted to set up it in an area where they can, there is less population, so that people are not being affected, local population, and less disturbance is caused to the environment. The site at Ron H met the criteria. Okay, so they choose for the sites where they are going to do quarrying, where they are going to set quarries. Okay, from where they are going to extract particular mineral. The application was for the extraction of 6.9 million tons of Silurian gritstone from an area of 13.4 hectares, with the total size of the site being 28.6 hectares. The period of quarrying would be 28 years. The products from the quarry would be used to supply the demands of the road construction market, reinforced by the government white paper on roads for prosperity of May 1989, which announced greater expenditure on roads over the next decade. The quarry itself would be well concealed within the landscape, and on completion of quarrying, all plant and machinery would be removed and the site restored by a combination of respreading of overburden and soil, seedling and tree plantation. Okay. Permission for the development was granted in 1991, subject to the company's undertaking to meet certain conditions. Okay. They included progressive landscaping, safeguarding of water courses and drainage, and control of noise, dust and blasting. So they also keep in mind that nearby population, local population is not being affected by controlling the noise, dust and blasting. Like whenever they do blasting, they might be having some kind of setups which control, dust production or noise and etc. etc. Fine. Any questions? Anyone out there? Okay. Now let's proceed ahead to the next part. Now we are going to learn about another query, that is Churchwood query, and then we are going to do the conclusion of this. Okay, now Churchwood Quarry was an active limestone quarry covering an area of 37 hectares. A new processing plant was under construction, and the old plant, which occupied a prominent point at the southwestern end of the quarry, would be removed, thus releasing a worked out area suitable for landfill. The old quarry would be progressively filled with industrial, commercial and domestic waste over a period. See, once they have to extract minerals, they have to dig the earth to, like several quite deep inside, right? And how they're going to fill that area? They're going to fill that area because they promise that they're going to, like once they are done with quarrying, what they're going to do? They're going to make it the way it was earlier, right? So how, once the area is being digged, a big hole will be created there. So how they're going to fill that, right? Because they promise that they are going to rejuvenate that area, right? So it is the old quarry would progressively be filled with industrial, commercial and domestic waste over a period of 20 years at an average rate of input 300,000 tons. Around 90 to 95% vehicles per day would visit the site using a new access to the north of the existing one. To maximize the potential void, a total of 1.5 million tons of limestone would be extracted. There was a need for such facility in Avon to take commercial and industrial waste because at the time of application there were only 8 sites available, none of which had a life of more than 2 years. The environmental effects of the development can be reviewed as following. Hydrogeology. Development of the landfill site as designed would have no adverse effect on the local hydrogeological regime. However, detailed measures to eliminate and control potential discharges from the site were recognized as being component of the project. So see, waste is being filled in that hole created, so because it is going to get processed, right? It will be fossilized into fossil fuels, right, in lakhs and lakhs of years, right? So they actually many companies, especially in India, once they dig certain sites, they leave it the way it is once their work is being done. Okay, once their project is over. But it doesn't happen in abroad countries. They just take care. Otherwise, they will be sued for the same. Government won't leave them. It is going to cancel their license and they won't be able to do business again. So they have to fill the site, okay, with the domestic waste and commercial waste. It's okay, fine. So that, in millions and millions of years, it is going to form fossil fuel, right? Is it clear? Jackson, Darshana, Darvish and Mohammed Irsha. Once they are done with their work, they take the responsibility for the same, that they're going to fill the void, that big hole created with these stuffs. Landfill gas. Breakdown of organic matter in a landfill site produces gases. To solve this problem, but yeah, whenever this is like anaerobic respiration, which causes fossil fuels, right? So anaerobic respiration, obviously it produces gases. Owing to those gases only, it has got a foul smell. So what people are going to do? In that case, they are going to solve this problem, a gas extraction system would be installed, which when gas reached a certain volume, consideration would be given to using it for energy generation. So whatever gas will be produced from those wastes, which is being filled in that hole, big hole for 20 years, which will be filled so that it can form fossil fuel. Whatever gas will be produced, they will have some kind of system which is going to absorb that, and they're going to use that gas as energy. Degradable waste and permeation of water through it gives rise to leachate. This would be collected, pumped out, treated, and if necessary, disposed of. Restoration. Completion of landfill operation would enable the recreation of the original ridge line with the restoration of former quarrying fitting and with the surrounding contours. A network of fields separated by head grows would enhance the visual effect. Okay, and now wherever there is a litter, okay, it will be infested by rats and flies and lot of odor will be there, right? So how they're going to control that? See, most of the companies, they want to restore the site, but they have the mentality that why I need to spend that money. And if you want to fill a site if you want to restore a site, obviously there are certain cons of it, like foul gases, rats and flies, so how you're going to manage that? But this company manages that as well. They have got alternatives for everything. Like obviously such kind of places will have a lot of rats, flies, odor. So how they're going to manage it? They have facilities for that as well. Fine. So this is how this case study proves that they're how eco-friendly they are, right? So most of the companies who are engaged in querying, who are extracting the minerals from the environment, they should see that they should restore the point, right? They should plant trees there rather than just doing their work and running out from there, right? The 3 case studies shows how companies engaged in querying with the planning framework set by government. So they follow all the government norms when they decide to, when they choose a site or when they decide to do querying. Querying in all its main manifestations is a complex business and has many considerations to take into account, from the visual aspect, noise, drainage. So see, everything has got its cons, and querying is not that eco-friendly, but they have actually they have got arrangements to make the site as it is once their work is done, restoration especially. The response of the company to the demands of the government road building plans of the late 80s was to identify sources of new materials within an approach that reduced the environmental impact. So, you just cannot rule out the possibility of extracting the minerals from nature, taking things from nature, but don't overdo it like these people. Okay, government has got some setup, some laws. Just try to follow that so that you don't go beyond what you are being asked to do, right? Because why government has set up norms to protect environment? Because if those norms are not there, people are going to, like what they do exactly. They exploit nature, right? But these people, they don't do that. Calls for the more efficient use of aggregate resources, including the recycling of construction materials together. So they do refilling, they do reconstruction of the quarrying sites, and moreover, whatever are the ill effects of refilling it, they combat with that too. They even recycle construction materials, and they control noise, pollution, everything. So this is how they are in the welfare of environment. This is how they preserve environment. Fine. Is this case study clear to everyone? Padi, Darvish, Darshana, Jackson, Mohammed. We are done for today. Anyone, any questions out there? Any question? Anyone out there? So don't forget to fill the feedback form. Now you have class with me in 2 hours, right? So please be there in my class. Darvish, Jackson, you are not my regular student. So do you have any questions for me? Okay, so don't forget to fill the feedback form and just put genuine comments there. And Padi, Darshana, okay, and Jackson, if possible, try to attend my classes as well. Okay, thank you so much. See you in my class. Yeah, bye bye.